Hello! Welcome back to the library. Let's jump right into it. So this episode of Variant Hunter is going to be a little bit different than normal because the first half is a known variant, and the second half is a known variant, but we don't know the order it came in. So let's jump right into things. And our first variant of the episode, which I haven't gotten on site yet because I still need to go through the manual, comes to us from viewer Alex with two X's. And he has way better eyesight than I do. So previously on Game-Rave.com, you had Crash Bandicoot Original Release and Crash Bandicoot Greatest Hits Release. No biggie. Then one day, I get an email from Alex, who emailed me from the site, I believe, was like, hey, I found this Crash Bandicoot. Is this a variant? And after I looked at it and spit up my soda, I was like, yep, yeah, that's a variant. So I went hunting on eBay for it and finally found it. And as I mentioned, the reason it's not up on site yet is because I haven't had time to actually go through the manuals page by page to see if there's any identifying markers, if you will. So to understand why Alex's eyes are better than mine, here's Crash Bandicoot. Here's Crash Bandicoot. And I'll do my best to get the reflections to not show up. So, as you can see, there's no difference. They're all fine and good. It's when you get to the back and where Alex's eyesight is insane. Can you see the difference yet? If you don't, I don't blame you. The difference comes here in the bottom, in the fine print. And I'll try and line these up so you can see. So what happened is on the original printing of Crash Bandicoot's Black Label release, when they were writing the fine print, and make sure I got this right, yeah. So when they were writing the fine print, and this is not going to show up on camera, I'll throw the B-roll up here, they had Universal Interactive Studios listed as Universal Studios, as in the theme park. So they had to go back and add in literally the word interactive twice, which causes the line of text to become 3 rows instead of the 2. Now, I spent 45 minutes on eBay looking at every back picture trying to find this one. But thankfully, and that's a weird way to say it, thankfully there is another marker on the disc. And what it is it's kind of interesting from a graphic designer standpoint. So this is the original printing, this thing, Word Interactive. This is a thing. Now, like I said, this will probably not show up on camera, so I will throw up the B-roll scans. But basically, on the reprinted one, all the text is thicker. And then if you can, I don't know if you can see or not, but the logo itself actually got a little bit of extra outline in what we call stroke artwork in the thing. So clearly, somebody at Interactive Studios was not happy. As I've said, so far the back insert and the disc are confirmed to be different. I still have to go page by page on the manual, and as soon as I can get time to do that, I will throw them up on site. Once again, thank you, Alex, with 2 X's. You're amazing. The second part of the Variant Hunter episode is a weird conundrum, and it might just be the Mandela effect kicking in, but I'm almost positive I have the right order of things. So Spyro, Year of the Dragon, has many releases. It has the Collector's Edition, the Greatest Hits, what would be the regular edition, and then what would be the Lenticular Edition, where basically the front is actually just a sheet of cardboard with the lenticular effect. Now, this is where things get interesting. And once again, super huge thanks to our anonymous viewer, or my favorite anonymous viewer friend and helper out of all things, who actually helped on the demo disc for Doom. I would have been either at High Score Video Games, the mom and pop shop, or at Game Shark when this was coming out. And my memory of that moment is that the lenticular should be the first release. Like, this would have been like the pre-order, hey, look at me, I got the day 1 edition technically. And then the generic version would have been the second print run, like after the fact. except what Mr. Anonymous discovered is that the day one edition, if this is the day one edition, has a newer code revision than the second one. This plain printing actually has an older version which has 3 huge glitches in the game that can prevent you from getting a complete game save. Now, at the time I'm recording this video, I've only been able to find one instance of them confirming the glitch on a major news site, and that was IGN. I'll have to go back and see when it was originally published, because I'm trying to see if GamePro's Watchdog column also confirms this. Because here's the weird thing. In the IGN video, in the IGN article, they simply say owners of the original Spyro the Dragon game. They don't say the day one lenticular, or they don't say the normal version. They just say Spyro the Dragon. You're the dragon, technically. So it's unclear if this would have been the day one release, and this was Sony's way of saying, oh, by the way, here's the corrected version, don't tell anyone. But I swear this is the day one edition with the lenticular. And what makes it even curiouser is the reason that Sony might have accidentally put a glitchy version on the second printing is plausible. Sony's not immune to screw-ups or mistakes like this because of Jet Moto 2. For those of you that don't know, Jet Moto 2's Greatest Hits Edition isn't the same Jet Moto 2 as the original Black Label release. It's technically what's considered the championship edition of the game, where a whole bunch of different things were changed. They got the graphics to look a bit better. I think they improved the frame rate too. It's been too long, and I still need to do that video eventually. So, where Jet Moto was technically an accident, being shipped the Champion Edition coding for the Greatest Hits, with this Black Label, this might have actually been either a genuine mistake, or I'm remembering my own history wrong. So, if you guys had seen the social media tweet from, it's probably about 2 weeks to a month ago now of this video, where I was asking people who had the lenticular version, we needed them to put that in their computer to see the date. And so far, everything is matching up to the lenticular having the newer code version and the newer disc having the old code version. So it's kind of crazy. Now, I don't know if this is a universal thing, but when Anonymous was talking to me about this and trying to figure out, if there was a way to figure out the code variant without, throwing the disk in a computer, this is how nuts I am. I went through every single possible page on eBay, be it a lot or single lot, and I don't want to mess these up. I'll probably go B-roll on this too. So on the Spyro discs, and I won't be able to get this. Yeah, okay. So very carefully. So here's the black ring of the hub, right? If you look closely, you can see the blackness of the hub around the edge. It's very faint. But the whole reason I was able to tell that this was a different disc is if you look closely, and like I said, I'll throw out the B-roll, you can actually gently, ever so gently, see the outer ring on here. Almost like it has like an atom's width of depth. And what's even crazier is if you do rub your finger like this very gently, you're basically reading the world's worst braille as far as texture goes, because on the other version, it's smooth and you can't see that other ring. You can see the black shape of the circle, but you can't see that extra ring like you can on that one. And that's what makes it interesting, because clearly they're two different things. Now, what makes it even harder is with this one, I did go through the manual page by page, paragraph by paragraph, and could not find a difference, which means in trying to find the newer code, which is the 2000, it'll come, if you throw the discs into your computer and look at the SLUS file, I believe it's called date modified. It will say that one is a 2000 date file and the other one is a 1999 date file. If that ring that I showed you isn't a universal truth, that means in order to figure out the variant, you're going to have to either take a laptop game hunting with you and throw the disk in to see which code variant it is, or what have you. But the question remains, which came first? The plain version and then the lenticular, or the lenticular and then the plain version? Like, on a stack of PlayStations, I swear the lenticular was of the day one edition. So who knows at this point? So if you guys have any insight, like, if you remember buying your lenticular version on day one, let me know in the comments, etc. So that essentially does it for this episode of Variant Hunter. As far as the site updates go, I just want to give you guys a heads up. The page quality of life updates are almost done. All I have left is the rest of T and then W, and all those changes are done. All the pages will now look awesome on your mobile device. They will look nice and clean. There's plenty of space between the tabs. So that's awesome. Two, I am currently working on June and Living History Project. Once I get that done, because of course there was a can of worms with a potential variant situation, demos will finally be in rotation to be added to the site. And I realize how important that is for all of you, because I finally figured out in Google Analytics how to actually see the title of my pages rather than just the unfortunate WordPress URLs, which are just numbers. And the PlayStation demo page is the #1 visited page, even though it has the least amount of information on it. So clearly, people are demo hunting. So once I get June taken care of in the Living History Project, we will just start bringing in demos into the page updates along with the Living History Project. So they're coming soon, guys. Otherwise, this video is already at 12 minutes. I'm sure I'll whittle out a bunch of my jabbering. But if you have any questions or comments, obviously hitting them down below. I will see you guys next episode. Also, the next episode may take a while. I have been blessed with the chance to bring you guys the first footage of another unreleased PlayStation game. And I'll leave it at that. Take care, you guys. Be safe.